Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today's our topic of discussion is electromagnetic oscillations. In the previous lecture, we discussed electromagnetic oscillations qualitatively. Now we are going to discuss electromagnetic oscillations quantitatively. In a qualitative discussion, we just talk about electromagnetic oscillations. We discuss how energy oscillates between electric field and magnetic field. And we see that when electric energy is maximum, then magnetic energy is zero in an LC circuit. These all things we have discussed in previous lecture. Now in this lecture, we are going to discuss the same thing, and we are going to discuss the things quantitatively, that is showing the results by equations. So we start our topic of discussion, that is electromagnetic oscillations. As we know that an LC circuit is that circuit in which an inductor and a capacitor are connected with each other. So we consider an LC circuit in which we have connected an inductor and a capacitor with each other, and as you can see in this circuit there is no source of EMF, and also in this circuit there is no resistance. We take this circuit as a resistance of this circuit is zero. When a resistance is zero, then there is no energy dissipation. So total energy of our system remains constant. This is a resistance-less circuit. Okay, as we know that inductor and capacitor, both elements store energy. Capacitor stores energy in electric field, and in inductor energy is stored in magnetic field. In an inductor, the stored energy is calculated by this formula. Energy stored in inductor is equal to 1 over 2 L I square. Here L is inductance of this inductor and I is amount of current flowing through the inductor. For energy stored in a capacitor, the mathematical expression is energy stored in capacitor is half Q square over C. Here C is capacitance of capacitor and Q is amount of charge stored on plates of capacitor. This term indicates that energy is stored in magnetic field, and here E indicates that in capacitor energy is stored in electric field. So now we take a special case in which we consider that we connect an inductor with a capacitor, and we suppose that initially the capacitor is fully charged. Here we connect a switch. If we suppose that initially the capacitor is fully charged, one plate of capacitor has positive charge and other plate of capacitor has negative charge. Suppose maximum amount of charge on plates of capacitor is Qm. This subscript m is used here to indicate maximum amount of charge. So initially, when capacitor is fully charged and switch is open, we see that energy stored on the plates of capacitor is half Qm square over C. This is maximum amount of energy that is stored on plates of capacitor. And initially we see that switch is open, so there is no current flowing through this circuit. Current through inductor is zero. Hence, when current through inductor is zero, then energy stored in inductor is also zero. So initially in our LC circuit, in this system, total energy is stored on plates of capacitor and in inductor energy is zero. But total energy is equal to sum of electric energy and sum of magnetic energy. So total energy becomes half Q square over C. ये Qm है, this is Qm, and this energy is zero. So total energy of our system initially at time t is equal to 0 is half Qm square over C. Now as we close this switch, we see that current starts flowing in this circuit in anti-clockwise direction. This is conventional direction of current. Current flows from positive plate to negative plate. So when current flows through the inductor, we see that when charge starts flowing, the amount of charge on plates of capacitor decreases, so energy stored in capacitor also decreases, and that charge which is being discharged from plates of capacitor flows, and rate of flow of charge is called current. So when current flows through this inductor, energy stored in inductor at any instant is given by this formula. So when we close this switch, then after some time at any instant, energy stored in inductor is given by this equation and energy stored in capacitor is given by this formula. So at any instant, total energy is equal to sum of electric energy and magnetic energy, and total energy at any instant becomes 1 over 2 Li square plus 1 over 2 Q square over C. We name this equation as equation 3. This is total amount of energy at any instant. Now as we know that there is no resistance used in this LC circuit, so energy dissipation is equal to 0. Hence total energy of our system remains constant. When total energy of the system remains constant, then time derivative of total energy must be equal to 0. So by law of conservation of energy, total energy remains constant and derivative of a constant quantity is equal to 0. So rate of change of this energy with respect to time is equal to 0. As we know that total energy is given by this equation, so its time derivative is equal to 0. So I can write it as total energy is given by sum of energy of inductor and sum of energy of capacitor. This term is Li square. So I differentiate this equation with respect to time. I get 1 over 2 L. Here only two quantities are variable. L is constant, C is constant, current I and amount of charge Q both are function of time. With passage of time, amount of charge Q stored on plates of capacitor decreases and current I increases. So these two quantities, current and charge, are function of time. So I take their derivatives with respect to time. So I get the derivative of I square is 2I di over dt plus 1 over 2 c square is constant, so q square's derivative is 2q dq over dt. So this 2 is cancelled out with this term, and here this 2 is cancelled with this term. So I get Li di over dt plus here c, only c, not c square, 1 over c q dq over dt is equal to 0. This term and this are cancelled out with each other. From this equation I can write it as di over dt I can write this whole equation in terms of charge q, knowing that the definition of current is equal to rate of flow of charge. So, and if I take derivative of current with respect to time, then di over dt is equal to d square q over dt square. So putting these two terms in this equation, I can convert this equation in terms of variable q. So here I put value of I in terms of rate of flow of charge. Then this equation becomes dq over dt, and this term becomes d square q over dt square plus 1 over c. This term is charge q and this is dq over dt is equal to 0. Now I can take dq over dt common from these two terms, and I can write this equation as dq over dt into L d square q over dt square plus 1 over cq is equal to 0. These terms are taken common, and as charge is flowing, So rate of flow of charge is not constant. So from here we can write this as dq over dt is not equal to 0. Hence this term is equal to 0, that is L d square q over dt square plus 1 over cq is equal to 0. And dividing both sides by L, I get d square q over dt square plus 1 over LCQ is equal to 0. This is second order differential equation. I name it as equation number 4. This second order differential equation is similar to this equation d square x over dt square plus k over m x is equal to 0. This is equation of simple harmonic oscillator in which x is a variable quantity that is named as displacement of simple harmonic oscillator from mean position. So this is equation of mechanical oscillator and this is equation of electromagnetic oscillator. In LC circuit, electric and magnetic energies oscillate. In capacitor, energy is stored in electric field that we name as electric energy, and in magnetic field in inductor stored energy can be said as magnetic energy. So energy oscillates between electric and magnetic field. That's why in LC circuit oscillations are named as electromagnetic oscillations. And here in mechanical oscillator, we talk about kinetic energy and potential energy, that is a mechanical energy. So this equation is equation for mechanical oscillator and this is equation for electromagnetic oscillator. The solution of this equation is written as x is equal to xm cos omega t plus phi. Here xm is maximum amplitude from mean position, omega is angular frequency of oscillator, and phi is named as phase constant, or we can say it as initial phase. Since this equation is similar to equation 5, equation 4 and 5 are similar, only difference is this variable quantity. Here variable is x and here variable is charge q. So comparing equation 4 with equation 5, I can write solution of equation 5 as q is equal to qm cos omega t plus phi. So this is a solution of our system, that is for electromagnetic oscillations. This is a solution of equation 4. In this equation, this term Qm is maximum amount of charge stored on plates of capacitor, and omega is frequency of electromagnetic oscillations, and phi is named as initial phase. I write it as phi is phase constant, or we can say it as initial phase, and omega is angular frequency of electromagnetic oscillations. As I said that this is a solution of equation 4. So this solution must satisfy equation 4. If I put this quantity here, and take its second derivative, first derivative then second derivative, and here I place this value. Then as this is solution of this quantity, so this equation must satisfy this equation. As we are talking about electromagnetic oscillations, so when we talk about its quantitative discussion, then we have to find the time of oscillation and frequency of oscillation. So our target is to calculate frequency of oscillations and time period of electromagnetic oscillations. To find the frequency and time period of electromagnetic oscillations, I have to solve this equation of electromagnetic oscillator. To solve this equation, I put these values in equation 4. So as charge Q is given, Q is equal to Qm cos omega t plus phi. I take its time derivative, that is dq over dt is equal to Qm. Its derivative is minus sine omega t plus phi. Derivative of cos is sine, and then I take derivative of its angle. Derivative of this quantity with respect to time is equal to omega. This is minus Qm sine omega t plus phi, and here this term is written at start. Again I take its derivative with respect to time. It becomes d square q over dt square is equal to minus omega qm. Derivative of sine is cos omega t plus phi, and derivative of its angle becomes omega. So I get d square q over dt square is equal to minus omega square. This omega and this omega, when multiplied, it becomes omega square, and it is qm cos omega t plus phi. This equation is named as equation 6. I can name it as equation 7, and I term this equation as equation 6. Now putting the value of charge q and d square q over dt square from equation 5 and 6 in equation 4, I get, putting here values, I get the result as, I rewrite the equation so that I can show you here. D square q over dt square plus 1 over LCQ is equal to 0. Here putting values, this becomes minus omega square Qm cos omega t plus phi plus 1 over LC, and value of charge Q is Qm cos omega t plus phi is equal to 0. I can take this term on right hand side, so this becomes minus omega square Qm cos omega t plus phi is equal to minus 1 over LC Qm cos omega t plus phi. This term Qm and cos omega t phi is cancelled from both sides. This minus sign is cancelled out with this minus sign. So we get omega square is equal to 1 over LC. Taking square root on both sides, we get omega is equal to 1 over square root LC. So this is angular frequency of electromagnetic oscillations. To calculate frequency, I know that we know that omega is equal to 2 pi f. So this equation becomes 2 pi f is equal to 1 over square root LC, and we can calculate frequency of oscillation as f is equal to 1 over 2 pi square root LC. So this was our target, to calculate frequency of oscillations, and from this frequency I can find time period as the time period of oscillations is, we know that time period is a reciprocal of frequency. So time period is a reciprocal of frequency becomes 2 pi square root LC. So we calculated the frequency, angular frequency, frequency and time period of electromagnetic oscillations. Now I can write the magnetic energy and electric energy in terms of charge in this way, that as magnetic energy is given by half Li square, and value of current as calculated from this charge is written as current I is equal to dq over dt, and value of dq over dt is minus omega qm sin omega t plus phi. So putting here values, I get 1 over 2 L. Taking square of current means taking this quantity is equal to current. So its square becomes minus omega qm sin omega t plus phi, square of this whole quantity. So it becomes 1 over 2L omega square qm square sin square omega t plus phi. This is magnetic energy at any instant of time. The electric energy at any instant of time is given as, for electric energy I can write this equation as half q square over c. So putting value of q 1 over 2c, and value of q is calculated as in equation 6 qm cos omega t plus phi. This is electric energy at any instant in LC oscillator. I can further modify this equation as, if I replace omega square with its value 1 over LC, 1 over LC, then this result becomes magnetic energy UB is equal to, this L is cancelled out with this L, so I get 1 over 2C qm square sin square omega t plus phi. This is magnetic energy at any instant, and this is electric energy at any instant in an LC circuit. As we know that total energy is sum of electric energy and magnetic energy, so at any instant total energy is given by sum of electric energy and magnetic energy. Putting values here, I get 1 over 2c qm, ये स्क्वेयर है, सो qm स्क्वेयर cos square omega t plus phi plus value of ub is 1 over 2c qm square sin square omega t plus phi. 1 over 2 c qm square is common in both these terms, so it becomes 1 over 2c 1 over 2c qm square. Here we get cos square omega t plus phi plus sin square omega t plus phi. And we know that sum of cos square plus sin square is equal to 0. Hence, our total energy is 1 over 2c qm into 1. This becomes qm square over 2c. As we stated earlier that total energy is a sum of electric and magnetic energy in an electromagnetic oscillator. And initially at time 0, we saw that total energy was electric energy and magnetic energy was 0. But total energy of system was equal to half qm square over c. After some time, when we close this switch, then after some time charge as capacitor gets discharged, current flows, the total energy becomes partly energy of inductor and partly energy of capacitor. So total energy at any instant is given by this equation. And we can see that at time 0 and at time t is equal to 0 initially, total energy, and at any time total energy is same. So according to law of conservation of energy, if the resistance of our LC circuit is 0, then according to law of conservation of energy, total energy remains constant as no energy is dissipated. If we place a resistance in LC circuit, then when current flows through resistance, some energy dissipates and total energy cannot remain same. Okay, now we consider the case that after some time, when capacitor is fully discharged, when capacitor is fully discharged, then we can see that charge on plates of capacitor is 0. When capacitor is fully discharged, as charge becomes 0, then electric energy on plates of capacitor is also 0. Electric energy stored in electric field of capacitor is also 0. And when charge is 0, then current is maximum. Note that we say charge is 0, but at that time a rate of flow of charge is not 0. At that time current becomes maximum, and when current is maximum, then magnetic energy is also maximum. When current maximum, magnetic energy maximum. So in this case, when capacitor is fully discharged, the total electric energy is converted into magnetic energy. Sum of total energy remains same. So in this way, energy oscillates between electric field and magnetic field. After some time, again capacitor is fully charged and magnetic energy is converted into electric energy. When capacitor gets fully charged, then at the other instant it again starts discharging and current starts flowing, and electric energy is converted into magnetic energy. In this way, in an LC circuit in which no resistance is connected, energy oscillates between electric field and magnetic field, and we have calculated the frequency and time period of oscillations of electromagnetic energy between capacitor and inductor. Now we talk about phase constant phi. The equation of charge is given as Q is equal to Qm cos omega t plus phi. This phi is known as phase constant. The value of phase constant phi is decided by initial condition. As we considered the case in this topic that initially capacitor is fully charged and total energy of system is electric energy, and that is given by 1 over 2 qm square over c. So initially total energy is electric energy and magnetic energy is zero. By considering the initial condition, we can decide the value of phase constant phi. So initially at time t is equal to 0, as electric energy is maximum, and electric energy is maximum when charge is maximum. So this is only possible if value of phase constant phi is equal to 0. So if we put t is equal to 0 and phi is equal to 0 in this equation, we get charge is equal to qm cos, as is equal to 0, so this term becomes 0 plus phi is also equal to 0. Hence charge q is equal to qm, as we know that cos 0 is equal to 1. Similarly, if we consider that initially electric energy is 0 at time t is equal to 0, then according to this equation, when t is equal to 0, charge q must be equal to 0 so that electric energy is 0. So from this equation, for charge q to be 0, the value of phi must be equal to 90. So by considering the initial condition, what is initial energy, what is initial electric energy, by considering this condition, we decide the value of phase constant phi. So in this case, we get charge q is equal to qm cos, as t is equal to 0, so this term omega t becomes 0 and phase phi is equal to 90. So this become qm cos 90, and cos 90 is equal to 0. Hence at time t is equal to 0, when phi is equal to 0, then charge q is equal to 0. Hence electric energy is half q square over c, as charge q is equal to 0. Putting value of q is equal to 0 here, we get that electric energy is 0. So value of phase constant phi is decided by initial condition. Now we compare the variation of electric energy and magnetic energy with respect to time. To discuss the graphical variation of electric and magnetic energy with respect to time, we draw a graph between time and energy, total energy. If we consider that at time t is equal to 0, total energy is electric energy and maximum electric energy is half qm square over c. When charge q is maximum, then energy is maximum. And initially we suppose that magnetic energy is 0. With the passage of time, electric energy decreases and magnetic energy increases. As we know that total electric energy is also written as 1 over 2c qm square cos omega t plus phi, and magnetic energy is also given as 1 over 2c qm square sine square omega t plus phi. So the graph of electric and magnetic energy is a sine wave. When charge q is maximum, electric energy is maximum. So if we suppose that at time t is equal to 0, when time is 0, charge q is maximum, so electric energy is maximum. With the passage of time, as time t increases, electric energy varies sinusoidally. So as discharging starts with the passage of time, electric energy decreases, and at some time electric energy becomes zero. At this time, when electric energy decreases, the magnetic energy increases. When electric energy becomes zero, the magnetic energy becomes maximum. I can draw this graph with another marker as this is for magnetic energy. When electric energy is maximum, magnetic energy is zero. When electric energy decreases, magnetic increases. And when electric energy becomes minimum, magnetic energy becomes maximum. And again, after some time, electric energy increases and it becomes maximum, and magnetic energy decreases and it becomes minimum. So this is graph for magnetic energy, and this is for electric energy. So in this way, we can represent the variation of electric energy and magnetic energy with respect to time. Energy oscillates between electric and magnetic fields. Total energy at any instant remains constant. When electric energy decreases, magnetic energy increases, and when electric energy increases, magnetic energy decreases. So in this way we can see the relation between oscillations of electric and magnetic energy with respect to time. So this was our topic of electromagnetic oscillations, in which we mathematically with equations discussed the oscillations of electric and magnetic energy, and at the end we show the variations of electric and magnetic energies with respect to time. So this was our 2 days topic of discussion.